And I'm hungry like the wolf. Hello, and welcome to the next episode of Matt and Todd Go to the Movies, half quarantine edition. The podcast where Matt and Todd watch a movie from the top 100 Netflix list, and then we talk about it, share our feelings, our hopes, and our dreams, and then you get to listen to it, and hopefully it perks up your day. I am Todd Domer.
And I'm Matt Malloy, and yes, we're only half quarantined because we are in the backyard studios of the Malloy Estates, and we are enjoying some social distance recording on my deck. And we are excited to talk about a new movie, not a new movie, but an old movie, called Silence of the Lambs.
I can't do it. I don't know how he does that.
He does it with some fava beans and a nice Chianti. Well, add this movie to the growing list of movies that I thought I'd seen before and have never seen.
Oh, really?
Yes. This was my first time viewing the old Silence of the Lambs movie. So, I mean, obviously I knew what the plot was and I knew the story and all that, just from existing in this world, but it was quite a surprise as I was going through. I was like, nope, I've actually never seen this movie. So, which, it's my wife's favorite movie, so...
Are you serious?
Yes.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's true.
That's cool. You have to pardon that plane. It's our new sponsor.
Yeah.
Whatever airline's flying above us right now.
It's probably Southwest.
Southwest.
So, yes, Silence of the Lambs, 1991. It won the Big Five Oscars. It's one of only 3 films to ever do this.
So what's that? Director? Actor?
Best Actor, yes.
Best Supporting? Is that no? What's the best 5? You probably know. I don't know.
Here it's Best Screenplay.
Okay.
Best Director.
Okay.
Best Picture.
Okay.
Best Actor, and Best Actress.
Okay.
So those are the Big Five.
That's Jodie Foster and Anthony Hopkins?
Yeah.
So I guess I don't think you know the answer to this question, but if the main actor, actress in a movie is one or the other, does that mean that the other person who has a smaller role that would be considered supporting role can be nominated for best of that category instead of best supporting? Because I always considered that Jodie Foster's the star of this movie and Anthony Hopkins was the lesser character, even though it was a big, bolder character that everyone knows, was the supporting character in this movie.
No, you can have a Best Actor and a Best Actress obviously in the same movie.
I guess that's true.
And then you could also have Best Supporting Actor and Actresses in the same movie, too.
That's true.
I don't know how they make the distinction, like, what's the cutoff when you're a supporting actor instead of a Best Actor?
Because if we're talking just in screen time, like, I mean, there's an okay amount of Anthony Hopkins in this movie, but it's not like he gets a ton of screen time.
True.
Anyway, if you know those answers, you can feel free to Facebook us about them.
Right. So, the other 2 movies, if you're interested, that also won the Big Five are One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, 1973, and 1938's It Happened One Night.
1938. Wait, so who, I don't think you know this either, but who in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, who was the best actress in that? I don't even know.
I think it's the nurse.
Okay.
Wait, I can tell you. I have it right here. I think I can tell you.
I guess it would have to be the nurse. I've only seen that movie once and it was a long time ago.
Best Actress, Louise Fletcher.
Yeah.
Louise Fletcher.
Nurse Ratched? Was that her name?
I think so.
Okay. Alright, anyway, Matt, sorry for taking us on tangents.
That's okay.
What is this movie about, Matt?
So this movie is about a serial killer who's in prison called Hannibal Lecter, and a young FBI trainee, I guess, played by Jodie Foster. And basically, one of the teachers at the FBI Academy is trying to work up a profile on Hannibal Lecter, and he can't get much kind of response or traction. Hannibal Lecter has kind of just refused to answer his questionnaire or survey or whatever. So he goes off on a whim and decides to send someone who is not graduated or an FBI agent yet into meet with this guy.
The lion's den, basically.
Yes, yes. And so he's the Hannibal Lecter is like a former psychologist who then transitioned into killing people and eating them. So, so she goes in, and that starts to set up this kind of relationship between Clarice Starling and Hannibal Lecter. And at some point, there's another serial killer who comes into play, who Hannibal Lecter ends up knowing something about and is able to help with the case, and eventually apprehending this other serial killer.
Yes.
Or at least making him not kill anyone else.
Yes.
So that's the movie in a nutshell. You've probably seen it before, even though I hadn't. And all of our listeners probably have seen it before too. But
who knows? Maybe they haven't, and they're relying on your review
maybe
to guide them in.
Yeah.
They've just been waiting for it.
Well, we'll have to see how we rate it, see if it's worth your time. But, Todd, what did you think of this film?
I think this movie definitely falls into the category of movies that I was like scared to watch again, because I'm like, maybe this will not hold up as where it's been in my mind. Like, I mean, I admittedly have not seen this movie in probably 15 to 20 years. Like, and when I saw it, I was not too old, I don't think, so definitely scared the crap out of me. And I thought this movie is still really, really good. It is like a exquisitely well-written movie. Like, it's just so, to me, it's tight in its dialogue, and it's tight in it's tight in everything it does. Like, there are scenes where you think like the time could potentially be wasted, and it's not. Everything serves a purpose with this movie, and everything guides the story and stuff like that. Even just like when Clarice is first meeting Hannibal, and she's walking down this hallway incredibly slowly because she's scared and stuff like that. And it's just like, it's kind of like a long scene, and it, like, I just feel like if it was any other movie, you'd be like, all right, hurry up, get down this hallway. But for this movie, it's like everything she sees, everything that happens to her in that hallway plays a part in the movie. It'll get brought up later or talked about, and it's a really smart movie, I think. I don't know how this stacks up to the book. Like, I haven't been down that road. We all know I'm not much of a reader, so. But it's really good. It's got incredible performances, I think, even with like people who are just I don't know if I want to say no name. I just don't know them. Like the woman who gets kidnapped by Buffalo Bill, who's like kind of like who they're all after to save and stuff like that. I thought she did a pretty. I've never seen her in anything else. I don't think that. I thought she did a pretty good job of just being scared, and it made me scared for her through most of the movie. The guy who plays Buffalo Bill, who is just deliciously creepy, like, and he just is so good. It's always funny to me because he later became the police chief on Monk, and it's just like he's just one of those guys that when you see him, he's just got those voices. He's got that voice, and it takes you back to Hannibal and all his weird lines in this movie. The guy who's the kind of FBI lieutenant or something who picks Clarice is I remember him from Urban Cowboy. I don't know why that's the one I remember him from, but he's the guy who kicks the crap out of John Travolta in that movie. He does a really great job, and then obviously you have Jodie Foster and Sir Anthony Hopkins, who just both play their roles incredibly well. Like, there's just not many negatives I can point out about this movie. Even for like a psychological thriller where things are not fast at times, to me, I was never bored, or I wasn't like, let's get to the next scene, or there wasn't like a scene I knew that was coming in the movie that I just want to get to or something like that. I was just enthralled. I never even picked up my phone to like play a game or something, which is sometimes a hint of how into the movie I am. I was into it. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if I can, there's a lot of great things to say about this movie. So, it's just, still holds up. If you haven't seen it, even if you're not like, I mean, it's gruesome at times, and it's definitely a psychological thriller, so even if those are not, you don't feel comfortable in those, this is still a movie that I would even recommend. Unless you're 100% like, I can't take that, because it's just that good. It's a credit to writing, it's a credit to acting, it's a credit to filmmaking, I think. So, yeah. So many memorable parts from this movie that stuck out to me and will forever live in my mind, even if I don't want them to. Matt? First-time viewer?
First-time viewer. Well, like I said, I had a pretty good idea of where the plot was going, but all the details were new to me and fresh. So I would echo pretty much everything you said. I mean, this is a really good movie, and it's not tarnished by the hands of time sweeping on. It is still good, still relevant. The performances are great. The story is great. I guess if I have to pick any nit, it would be maybe that, like, Jodie Foster's character figures things out, like, so easily.
Yeah.
As far as, like, what others, and we've seen this before in movies, you know, the young, upcoming, super talented, whatever, is going to figure things out quickly. But I thought that was pretty much one of the most unrealistic parts.
Like, isn't the first clue he gives her like an anagram or something, and she just like is like, boom, that was an anagram, but like
right.
It like takes her on this journey, and I was like, like, I agree with you. I was like, how did we get here? I mean, I didn't care that much because I was enjoying the ride, but you are right. It's like she's given a little, definitely to start with, she's given a little, and she gets a lot from it.
Yes, for sure. But that's really of a minor concern, and you know, if you like superhero movies at all, you're already fine with this type of
sure.
like super skill person coming into play. But anyway, yeah, I have nothing else bad to say about it, really. It's there was some negativity, I guess, at the time from the LGBTQ community about one of the characters is maybe bisexual, maybe a transvestite, maybe something else, and how that was treated, some people didn't like, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really, I mean, it's not my struggle, so I can't really comment on if this like truly irked you or not, but I don't think this necessarily paints transsexuals in any kind of way. It paints people who are kind of psycho in a way.
Right.
You can be psycho and go all over the spectrum, or that kind of stuff. So
yeah, I think the criticism maybe was that, oh, there's something wrong because the guy's transsexual. No, the guy's transsexual and there's something wrong.
Yeah, I don't think they ever make that conclusion in the movie, that they blame that he wants to be a woman, like, at all. They blame his upbringing and the abuse that he, like, not that is what makes him want to be a woman, but they attribute that to why he is kind of went off the deep end.
Yeah.
Almost just being a woman is just a secondary factor. Like,
yeah, I agree with that. So yeah, I really liked it for a first time viewing. Definitely recommend. For more than first time viewing, also recommend. Go watch this movie again if you haven't seen it in a while.
Nice. So, Matt, how many screaming sheep would you give this movie from 0 to 5? Screaming sheep.
Screaming lambs.
Screaming lambs.
Yes.
Thank you.
So 0 to 5 screaming lambs, which does play a role in the movie.
Yes.
As you know, if you've seen this movie, I'm going to go pretty high on this one. I think there's not much wrong with the movie at all, and I think the strong parts are really strong. So I'm going to go 4.7 screaming lambs.
Nice. Yeah, I think I was pretty much right about there too. My gut first reaction was a 4.7, and I was trying to talk myself up to a 4.8, but I'm just going to stick with my gut because that's what we do here.
That's
just
right.
4.7. I mean, I don't know. There's always the chance that someone will watch this movie and not enjoy it and be like, you know, this was a waste of my time. That could be with any movie. I just kind of strongly doubt it. It's just that good, and it's not just good because it's a thriller story that like you are kind of captivated in. It's just that good because everything is just really well done.
Yeah.
There are some movies that like came out and at the time it was like a thriller or whatever, and then you go back now and you're like, like something like Seven. Like if you watch now or when I watch it now, I'm like, you know, like I still am into the thriller of this, but it just doesn't hold up as much. It's like not as finely tuned, but this movie stands the test of time to me very much.
Yeah, I feel like the only reason you would watch the movie and not like it is maybe it's a little bit too gory for you, or it's too suspenseful. Like you just can't handle suspense.
Yeah, one weird fact that came out of it for me. Most of the time I was watching this movie, I was like, man, how did police FBI get anything done before cell phones and internet and stuff like that? Like,
right.
There's several times in the movie where a character needs to just call someone, needs to just talk to someone, and it is an ordeal to do that.
Right.
And those times are so far gone that I just cannot relate to that. I'm like, man, it must have stunk to be a detective back then trying to figure this stuff out when you had to reach payphones and stuff.
Absolutely. There's one scene in particular where she's on a phone and she's calling and she's talking to the other FBI guy who's on a plane, like sitting at this giant switchboard, and somehow they've connected. Like, okay. But,
man.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, do you think we should let him in on our possibly exciting news of what's coming up?
Oh, yeah. So, we have the potential for the first time in, almost 6 months of seeing a first-run movie, a new movie that's never been released at the theater. Now, the theater's the drive-in. We've been to the drive-in before, but they are showing for the first time this week Bill and Ted Face the Music, which is the third Bill and Ted movie that's just coming out now with grown-up Bill and Ted, played by Bill, what's his name?
Winters?
Yeah.
And that other guy
Keanu
who's not
Reeves,
that famous.
Yeah. So our plan is to do that on Sunday night, and we'll record a podcast about that, of course. But it'll be interesting and fun to actually see something that's not just on Netflix and at a movie theater.
I mean, I have enjoyed some of the older movies that we've watched.
Oh, for sure.
But this has been a long time coming. I've seen a movie that I have not seen, and I want to see it. Some of the movies that I have not seen that we have to watch, I regret watching, and I don't think that's going to happen with this one.
Right. So look forward to that. That's going to wrap up this episode of Matt and Todd Go to the Movies, where we watched The Silence of the Lambs. And we both really liked it. In fact, we gave it a combined rating of 4.7 screaming lambs out of 5, which is an exceptional rating.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I think maybe there's only one other movie that might rate higher.
Yeah.
which would be Parasite, I think.
Yep. So, thank you for listening, and keep on listening. We'll keep on making these podcasts.
Da 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 da
Da da
da da da.
da da da.